Y'all, it is so cold outside, I can barely think straight. Hello, hi. Welcome back to my channel. Just another struggling writer, the Beleaguered Authors one-stop shop for commiseration and hopefully inspiration. My name is Carrie Scher, and I am just another struggling writer. Today's struggle being the weather. Today I got up and checked the weather and it was 20 degrees, 7 o'clock, but the feels like was 4. For those of you who are new here or haven't been following along, I live in North Texas and we don't do this kind of temperature here. And I, especially, am a desert creature. I am not built for this kind of Arctic conditions, but we persevere. This is going to be kind of a trying week. Not only do my kids go back to school, I go back to school, and then we've also got this winter storm coming up on Thursday that we all have to kind of scramble to plan for. Like at work today, we have like several events coming up Thursday evening, and Friday that we're now like sitting there going, do we reschedule them? Do we cancel them? How do we move forwards? And it's just creating a lot of extra work and a lot of extra stress, but it is what it is. All that to say, it is Monday at 10 p.m. and I am just now sitting down to write. The good news is that I'm coming off of a 7,000 word weekend thanks to the 10,000 word weekend challenge that a couple of other author tubers put on over the weekend that I participated in. So I am way ahead of schedule and I have gotten a fuck ton of writing done over the last 3 days that I could theoretically take today off and I wouldn't know. Except that I would know. I would know that I just completely blew the day off for no other reason than I don't wanna. This weekend made me feel really, really good about myself as a writer and about my capabilities and about my manuscript especially, and I don't want to break the chain just because I'm tired. So I'm not. I'm gonna sit down here and I am going to write 500 words. I'm not gonna get too crazy. I'm gonna stick to my 500 plan. Like I said, this past weekend basically got me like 5 times as many words as I would have if I had just stuck to 500 words a day. So I don't feel the need to push myself over much, especially since I've still got reading to do. I've got to update my reading journal. I got to figure out how to get my textbook. I'm taking this economics class and I couldn't figure out how to get the textbook open, which is just great. So I've still got lots to do and I've got to get up early because back to school is tomorrow. So no more sleeping in for me. So 500 words is the goal. That's half an hour. I can do half an hour. I'm going to drink a hot chocolate and hopefully try and keep myself a little bit warm. And that's just going to be the way the cookie crumbles today. Man, that kind of sucked. I was a little bit blocked in that session. I thought I had a good entry point back into the scene from where I left off yesterday, but it turns out it wasn't working for me. I did end up pushing through and getting 788 words, but it took me a while. It is now 11 o'clock. And I don't know that I'm entirely in love with what I've done, but it'll just have to do for now. And I also do have about 200 100 more words stashed away for later in this scene. I tried to use my little trick of I'm feeling blocked, so I'll just time jump ahead to a point where they've already talked about this off page, and I already know that that's not going to work. So I wrote about 200 words, ended up deleting it, or like putting it in my cut content folder, and I will apply it to a later part of this scene once I get there. So really, when you think about it, I wrote almost 1,000 words. So that's something. And the thing is that I knew this scene, or these couple of scenes, since I broke it up into two, were going to be difficult because I am introducing an important character who I want to have kind of a distinct personality, and I've just been sort of dreading it because I don't know that I was worried that I wouldn't get it right, and it doesn't feel quite right, but it'll take some refining and revision for sure to get her right. But yeah, like I said, I knew this was going to be tricky, and it is proving difficult. And now the way I have to get myself moving again is to do more info dumping. Oh my gosh, it's been like 5 chapters of info dumping. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's the first draft. What can you do? Like I said, ended up with 788. My grand total is up to 39,428. So I think tomorrow my goal will be to hit 40. Yay! That will be exciting, and we'll just keep on trucking. So I don't have much else for you. I'm kind of tired. I still have to update my reading journal. I still have to take a shower. I still have to read like another 30 pages of a study in drowning. So I'm going to call it a night here, and I'll check in with you tomorrow. Hey y'all, it is now Tuesday evening, and I am just checking in before I sit down at my desk to write. My camera was set up over here, so I didn't want to move everything. It is just after 10 o'clock, and I am a little bit fuzzy in my brain. I actually made reading a priority today. I finished not 1, but 2 books today. So I'm feeling just like my head feels very dense. But one of the books that I finished, I really, really liked. And it's one of those books where it's just like, it rejuvenates the passion for fiction. And so I'm going to try and turn that into a productive writing session. No promises. Like I said yesterday, I was feeling a little bit iffy about the chapter that I'm working on in the scene. I don't feel it is entirely a good introduction of such an important character, but I also realized that there's nothing wrong with it in some of the ways that would hold me up. There's nothing that would make me want to go back and rewrite it other than just wanting to improve the quality. And I don't need to do that right now. I can save that for revision. I think it does the job well enough to move me on. At least I hope. We'll see once I get over to the desk and actually start looking at what I have to do next. But it's also possible that I just put too much importance on the scene in my mind, and that's what made it difficult to write. And so the best thing for me to do is to get some distance from it and detach the importance from it mentally, so that when I do come back to it in revision, I don't freeze up in the effort to make it perfect. All of that to say, what are you doing back there? All of that to say, I am going to go sit down and write. Again, I'm not going to try and push past my baseline goal of 500, especially since, okay, now the cats are fighting, so we got to wrap this up. Especially since I am feeling so tired. I don't know if you can see them. Okay, I paid for that. So let me step away from the disaster zone that this is about to be and get some writing done, and I will check in with you guys shortly. Okay, y'all, checking in after my writing session, and I don't have too long because I think my partner is about to come to bed, but I did it. I did 577 words, and I crossed over the 40K mark. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so happy. And the great thing is that I went back to the earlier part of the scene. I had only done a couple of paragraphs in this new scene last night, and I went back to those paragraphs and added a few more sentences and lines and words to make the new character I was introducing feel a little bit more distinct, and it worked. I feel a lot better about her voice now. This is still like part of the training montage where my main character is still learning a lot about magic and how it all works and everything, so it is still very info dumpy, but at least the character who is giving the information feels very like distinct and like a real character. I'm hoping to play that into more scenes with this character. And I actually think I ended off on a really great line about what makes the magic in this world magic. And anyway, yeah, it was just a great little session. I feel a lot better about where I'm at with the character and her voice, but also how I am developing her role in the plot and what I am going to be doing in like future sessions later this week. So 577, not a huge day by any means, but a very productive one. And like I said, crossed over 40K. So it's just so funny that like at the beginning of the year, I was just over 30K, and then we had that huge weekend. So long story short, I am calling it here because I think it is bedtime, but I will check in with you guys tomorrow to do another one. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I do not want to write today. It is now Wednesday evening, and earlier this morning it was confirmed that I would not be working tomorrow. The schools, in anticipation of this winter storm coming in, have preemptively closed, and my managers made the decision to also close the office for at least a half day. But with the schools closed, I have to be home with the kids. So I'm home tomorrow. And honestly, between you and me, I would lay wagers that I'll be off on Friday too because of the schools. So it's Wednesday, but it honestly kind of feels a little bit like a Friday. The kids are staying up and enjoying themselves. But something about this day just kicked my ass. Honestly, this whole week and part of last week has been kind of an ass kicking. We suddenly got very, very busy. It's just been a mental kind of slog, and I'm very tired. In fact, I laid my head down on my desk for my lunch break and like took a 20-minute nap. That's how tired I have been today. And so even though the fact that it is only 9:30, I have been thinking about getting into bed since like 6:30, 7 o'clock. I had to edit a video, so I did that. And now I'm like, that's done. I could go to bed. And I keep telling myself, it's okay, it's one day of writing. 500 words is not going to make or break your pace. But you know what's honestly pulling me back in is my streak. I managed to go 7 straight days adding words, and I kind of don't already want to capitulate and give in to the excuses and not write, because that's really all they are, is excuses. There's no reason for me to not sit down over there and try and get 500 words. I think I mentioned in my goals video that 500 words for me is only like half an hour, and I can stay awake for a half an hour more. In fact, what I'm probably going to do even whenever I get in bed is read or watch some YouTube videos or dick around on my phone for at least half an hour. I'll just be laying down. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is, as much as I want to succumb to the sweet embrace of the night, I think I am just going to sit down at my desk and try and get some writing done. And honestly, it will be good for me to do something like that, because there are going to be days where I'm tired. There's going to be days where I just don't feel like it. There are going to be days where the conditions are ripe for me to lay in bed and sleep. Just as an aside, I can't remember if I've talked about this. I think that I have, but like anytime I am home from work when I should not be, like tomorrow, it's like a Pavlovian response for me to feel sleepy and want to get in bed. So I think that's part of it, is knowing that I have all this free time that I normally wouldn't have, and instead of like taking advantage of it to be productive, I sleep. So I'm trying to work around that as well. I'm gonna go over there and work. I'm gonna do it. I'm going to maintain my streak. I'm going to build my streak to 8 days. It's 3 weeks to build a habit and 90 days to make it a lifestyle. And if I keep falling off after the first week, then I'm never going to get anywhere. So I'm not going to fall off. I'm going to go to work, and I'll check in with you when I'm done. Y'all, that writing session sucked. Oh my God, it sucked. It is now almost an hour later, and I only got 679 words because I got really, really stuck right at the beginning because I was trying to explain my magic system using like a mechanical engineering metaphor, and your girl does not understand mechanical engineering. So I don't know why I was trying to make that work. So I tried it a couple of different ways, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll just throw that metaphor away and try something different. And it just wasn't working. And I blame the fact that my brain cannot stop thinking about how soft and warm my bed is. So anything that requires any sort of higher thinking is not happening. So I just left a little gap and moved on. And after that, it was really easy. But I labored over that one metaphor for like half an hour. We're getting there. This scene is slowly coming along. I've been working on it for the last 3 days, and I think I'm getting close to wrapping it up and moving on. It's just been kind of a labor for some reason. One good thing that did come out of this session is there's this plot point that has kind of formed the midpoint, and I've been kind of worried about building it up and foreshadowing it and making it something that the main character would logically like not jump to the correct conclusion immediately, that she would have to follow threads to arrive at that conclusion, so that I'm not getting there too early. And I've been really struggling with like, how am I going to do that? How is that going to come up naturally? How is that going to insert itself in a way that isn't heavy-handed? Because as many of you may know, if you followed any of like my book reviews, the biggest pet peeve of mine in books is when I can guess the twists and the main character is just going, huh? What? It just makes me so crazy when an author winks at the audience going, you know what's going on, but then the main character is just like, I don't know. It bothers me. It just bothers me. So I don't want to be that author. Anyway, all that to say, I had a moment come up in that conversation that very neatly started the beginning of that thread, and now she can start to pull on it, and she'll eventually arrive at the correct conclusion at the midpoint. Sometimes there's just some things that you just can't plan for in your outline. There are just some things that you have to wait until you're in the meat of the draft and you're actually writing the words to see how it all will like fit together. And that was just a great example. I have really been stressing, especially since we are coming closer and closer to the midpoint, and I haven't really dropped as many hints as I wanted. So on that note, I got 679 words. Over the last 3 days, I've gotten over 2,000 words. So I am still over my pace. My pace, of course, is 500 words a day. And the ultimate goal, is to be done with this draft by the end of Q1. And I would say I am doing pretty swell with that. Even assuming I overshoot 90,000 and go up to like 100K or 110K, I'm still in really good shape. I'm over 40,000 words now, so even if I have to write 60,000 or 70,000 more to finish this draft, I'm still in really good position to go ahead and do that. That's gonna wrap up this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. If you like my content and want to support the channel, please like and subscribe, or consider leaving a comment below. In my next video, I'm planning on doing a lot more writing. Tomorrow we've got the snow day. Friday will probably be a snow day as well, and then the kids are going to their dad for the weekend. So the next 4 days, I'm hoping to get a shit ton more writing done. I haven't set any hard goals, but what I would really like to do is hit the original midpoint word count, which is 45,000. But what I would really like to do is try and get to the real midpoint, the actual like plot midpoint. And who knows what that word count will be. Maybe 55,000 is what I'm thinking. So that will be my goal for the next vlog. I hope you look forward to it, and I will see you then. Bye.